Welcome back to Capital Connection. I'm your host, Nick Nanton. I've got a great guest with me today here. I've got Andrew Arons. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you, Nick.
Welcome to the show, man. Hey, so you do some really good stuff. You're in the financial world. Now, that means many things to many different people.
Right.
So why don't we talk a little bit about what you do specifically in the financial markets, because you're pretty specialized in what you do.
Right. Well, I do have my own firm. I'm the managing partner and founder of Synergy Advisory Management Group. We're just outside of New York City in Hackensack, New Jersey. And we're a comprehensive financial advisory firm where we specialize in wealth management. We also have specialists that do insurance, long-term care, and estate planning. But one of the things that separates us apart is we really want to get people ready for retirement. We work on retirement readiness courses. We offer these courses at colleges and universities throughout the state. This comprehensive approach, I believe, helps our clients so that they have all the advisors working on the same page. Many times what we find out is that someone may have a financial advisor, but they don't have any idea what's going on with their estate planning or their insurance. Sure. So a lot of people, hence the name Synergy, we all work together. The combined effect, it works very nicely for our clients.
I love that. Now let's talk a little bit about financial advice, because there's really what I would call two phases of this monster we're going to tackle here. There's the accumulation phase, where most people are very familiar with. They're putting into a 401k, they're putting into investment accounts, they're working. And then there's this distribution phase, which is very different, by the way. And I caution a lot of people that if your advisor only specializes in accumulation, that's okay. So you make sure you get somebody who understands distribution, because you don't have a second shot at this.
Right. I mean, we always tell people that when it comes down to retirement, you really need to definitely give yourself 10 years to work on that distribution phase. What we see a lot is we see people that are very, very heavily invested in the stock market. And, you know, if we have a particular downturn like we had in 2008, the market was down 40%. Most people think that if they get 40% back, they're back to even. It doesn't work that way, Nick. What has to happen is you need 67% to get back to even. That could take people 8 to 10 years. So, like you said, you need to get it right the first time.
And timing is critical, because if you're 65 and want to retire, and you're down by 40%, you got a big problem, because now you might have to push to 75 to retire.
Right.
Tell me this, that math, I know it works, but it sounds so foreign to people. So why 67%?
Well, I mean, if you had $100,000 and you lost 40%, you got $60,000, right? But if you got a 40% return on that, you'd only be back to what, $84,000? Yeah. You need 67%. That's the way it works to get back to even.
Man, that's sobering knowledge for everybody, so I'm glad they're watching. And there are some safe money strategies. Let's talk a little bit about, you and I have been talking a little bit about seasonality in the markets, and you manage a lot of people's assets. And there's kind of two types of advisors in the assets under management world, managing stock portfolios. People who kind of set it and forget it, and then people who play the seasons of the markets. And most people do not do both these things, but you guys specialize in both. Tell me a little bit about how that works.
Right. A lot of people don't do what I do with regards to the seasonality effects and looking at what happens in the market. I mean, right now we're having a great market. We're in an election year, and we started this year off with a terrible January. It was the worst January on record. And I remember talking about the market saying, I really think the market's going to end up doing well. We're in an election year, and in an election year, the markets typically do 7.6%. If a Republican gets in an election year, which just happened, the market's typically up 10.3%. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing the markets on fire right now. But I caution people, you know, if you're close to retirement, make sure that you have an investment, not just an investment plan, but a retirement income plan in place.
Huge stuff. Now tell me this, what was it that made you decide to get into this industry?
Well, what made me get into this industry, when I think back, my dad and I, when I was a kid, used to sit and watch the stock ticker when he got home from work, and I was following different stocks. I remember following General Motors and Ford. These were just stocks that I was following. Walmart came, just those were stocks that we were following. And we used to follow them like sports teams. They didn't have fantasy football back then. So it was a fun thing to watch. I learned it. I started looking at charts at a very early age. And when my dad had passed away when I was in college, There were a couple of career choices that I looked at, but I knew that the financial markets ultimately was going to be the decision for me.
I love that. And now you do things very differently, and you seem to stay far ahead of your competition. What's your secret to just staying out in front?
Well, what I do is I'm always working. I'm always staying current on the markets. If I'm not coaching one of my children's sports teams, because I'm a huge sports fan, I'm constantly watching the markets.
Love that. Now, I love to ask this question to successful people. If you were to go back in time and tell yourself on the first day you're putting that suit on, putting that tie on, what would you tell yourself then that you think might be useful to other people who are starting businesses?
Well, I would tell people the first thing is believe in yourself, do your homework, and don't be afraid to invest in your business. A lot of people, don't have the belief in themselves to just, invest in their business. And, I'm fortunate because my business is something that I have had a passion for my whole life. And, besides being something that I go to work every day and do, it's something that it's my hobby as well.
That's great. Love that. Yeah, investing in your business, investing in yourself. So many people forget that. There's no time when you can stop learning, right? You just got to the market keeps changing, the world keeps changing, you got to learn, right?
The market's constantly changing, so it's a great thing to follow on a daily basis.
Andrew, I know you also just recently co-authored a book, Cracking the Code of Success. Tell our viewers a little bit about that and what you talked about in that book.
What we talked about in the book was a lot of the different investment strategies that are out there. There are some people that may just have a passive manager where they set up a model and it's more of a buy and hold scenario. And I kind of pointed out that there are other ways to invest. Those other ways are active strategies. We talked about some tactical strategies as well.
That's great. So make sure you check out the book and make sure you read that particular chapter all about that. That's great. Now, I also know that you have a special kind of online seminar system for people. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, we have an online seminar system where if you go to www.planforretirementpresents, all one word, what you will get is you will be getting a workbook talking about the 12 answers that everyone needs to make before they retire. They'll also receive a retirement income analysis, which our firm will do for free.
That's great. Everyone needs that.
Right. And we'll also provide you with a on-demand seminar, which you could watch 24 hours a day at your leisure. So if you're working hard, working towards that retirement date, you could just watch it at your leisure.
Love that. Get all the free stuff. Go to the website. We'll put the phone number up as well so you can call Andrew if you have a question. Make sure you go check out the seminar. And Andrew, thanks for joining me.
It was nice to see you, Nick. Thank you.
Thank you.